Today, everyone has an opinion, but few stop to ask, how do we know what's true? We scroll, we share, we argue. But 300 years ago, a few dared to question not just what they believed, but why, and changed everything. They challenged kings, questioned the church, and rewired the way people saw truth, power, and even God. They called it the Enlightenment, the moment when reason, not authority, became the brightest light in Europe. Before the Enlightenment, Europe was a continent in pieces. Civil wars, plagues, and revolts left cities in ruin and faith in question. From the ashes of that chaos, one man tried to explain it, not with faith, but with fear. Thomas Hobbes believed human nature was brutal, selfish, and cruel. Without authority, he wrote, life would be solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short.
To escape anarchy, men must surrender their freedom to a sovereign power strong enough to keep the peace.
Hobbes imagined society as a pact. People give up liberty for order, and in return, the ruler keeps chaos at bay. His vision was dark, a necessary dictatorship born of fear. But one generation later, another thinker would ask, what if government could be built not on fear, but on freedom? John Locke was a quiet revolutionary, a scholar on the run. In a world where kings ruled by divine right, he dared to imagine government built on reason and consent. In exile, he wrote 2 treatises of government, not for monarchs, but for mankind.
Every man is born with natural rights, life, liberty, and property. Governments exist to protect them, not to destroy them.
He never fired a shot, but his words would spark revolutions centuries later. Charles de Montesquieu was a nobleman who mistrusted nobles. He dissected governments like a scientist searching for the anatomy of freedom.
In England, power is divided. King, parliament, courts, each limiting the other. Perhaps liberty lives not in strength, but in balance.
That discovery became his masterpiece, The Spirit of the Laws.
Power must check power. When all authority rests in one man's hands, liberty is lost.
His idea of separation of powers would echo from Versailles to Philadelphia. France was a land where words could be crimes. When Voltaire praised tolerance and free thought, his books were burned, and he fled for his life. In exile, he discovered something radical, a nation where people could disagree without dying for it. For Voltaire, the measure of enlightenment was not agreement, but tolerance, the ability to let ideas clash without silencing them. His biographer, Evelyn Beatrice Hall, captured that ideal when she summarized his platform, often attributed as his quote,
I disapprove what you say, now, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
It was more than wit, it was defiance. Voltaire turned freedom of speech into a weapon against tyranny. Jean-Jacques Rousseau mistrusted everyone, even his friends. Hypersensitive, erratic, yet painfully sincere, he longed for authenticity in a world of masks. He believed man was born good. Society made him cruel.
Man is born free, yet everywhere he is in chains. True government must come from the consent of the governed.
His isolation birthed one of history's loudest calls for equality. The timid man's words would one day roar through revolutions. But not every voice was heard in the Enlightenment. Mary Wollstonecraft looked at the age of reason and asked why half of humanity was left out.
I do not wish women to have power over men, but over themselves.
Her book, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, demanded education and equality, arguing that reason belongs to all, not just the privileged or the male. While some expanded the meaning of reason, others began to question its limits. David Hume was philosophy's great skeptic and its warmest soul, a wit, a drinker, a storyteller, and one of Benjamin Franklin's dearest friends. They argued about truth, science, and God, usually over ale. Beneath the laughter, a radical thought simmered. What if even reason has limits?
You chase lightning, Ben. I chase certainty. And both, I think, are equally slippery.
His doubt wasn't destruction, it was discipline. The Enlightenment's conscience wrapped in a smile.
Reason alone cannot explain the world. We know only what experience teaches us.
Immanuel Kant was predictability itself, a philosopher of clockwork routine. Yet behind that precision was a party-loving intellect with a sharp wit and restless mind. He had read Hume, and it shook him to his core. If reason has limits, how can we know anything at all?
The Enlightenment is man's emergence from self-imposed ignorance. Dare to use your own reason.
Kant gave the movement its soul. Not rebellion against faith, but liberation through thought. While philosophers reshaped Europe's mind, their ideas crossed oceans. In coffee houses, taverns, and embassies, thinkers and experimenters prepared to test those ideas in the real world, not with words alone, but with revolutions of reason and of freedom. Before Paris, before revolution, there was friendship. Two minds, one Scottish, one American, united by curiosity and courage.
David, I've shocked half of London with electricity, but your essays have shocked the other half with philosophy.
Then we're both dangerous men, my friend.
Their toast that night said it all.
To reason!
And to humanity, may both survive us.
By century's end, the Enlightenment burned brightest in Paris. In salons like this, ideas were currency, and Franklin, the visiting American, was its newest philosopher king.
Ah, Monsieur Franklin, tell us, has liberty truly found its spark?
It has, madame. Liberty, like electricity, must first shock the system before it lights the world.
Behold, the sages of two worlds, Voltaire and Franklin.
Your words, Monsieur Voltaire, crossed the ocean before our ships did.
And you, Monsieur Franklin, have proven that reason can defy kings. May the next generation carry it further, God and liberty.
In that moment, philosophy met revolution. Voltaire's pen had challenged tyranny. Franklin's diplomacy would help defeat it. When Franklin returned home, another thinker crossed the Atlantic. Thomas Jefferson, the quiet heir to the Enlightenment flame.
All men are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights.
From Voltaire's Paris to Jefferson's Virginia, the Enlightenment's light became the foundation of a new world. We live in an age that urges us to trust the science. But what happens when that science is shaped by those who profit from it? When questioning becomes dangerous and compliance is called virtue? The Enlightenment was never about rejecting authority. It was about holding it accountable. Hobbes warned that without order, life would be solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. But Locke demanded that even kings respect the natural rights of man. Montesquieu built balance to keep power in check. Voltaire fought censorship with wit sharper than any sword. Rousseau gave voice to the people, the governed, not just the governors. Hume questioned what we could ever truly know. Kant dared us to think for ourselves, sapere aude. And across the Atlantic, born of Enlightenment ideals, Franklin and Jefferson carried that courage into a new republic. The United States began as an experiment in freedom, imperfect, evolving, but ever reaching toward light. Institutions can be wrong, and sometimes they punish those who question. But progress does not come from obedience. It comes from courageous doubt, from daring to ask, why? How do we know? Who benefits? That is the spirit of the Enlightenment, and it must never die.